Welcome to Adobe Photoshop Elements Killer Tips, brought to you by the Photoshop Elements Techniques newsletter. And here is your host, Corey Barker.
Alright everyone, got something quick and easy this week. We're going to do some really cool design effects using some very simple tools inside of Elements. Specifically this one right here, which is the Quick Selection tool. It's a brand new tool inside of the newest version of Elements, and it's a very useful tool. It actually does really impressive selections. And it works like a brush. If I just take my left and right bracket keys, you can see it changes the size, and what you simply do is just paint in an area you want to select. And notice it resamples the area as you're painting and adds to that selection. So I'm just going to go over here and paint this area here. We'll add these little parts here. Did a little much there. Let's actually do that again. Start down here. And just paint in the areas you want to add to the selection. Now, you can see right in here it added the area between his legs, and we'll deal with that in just a moment. Let's just add this little part of the shoe, and we'll go in here. And I'm just painting in. I'm not holding down any extra keys to add this to the selection. It's simply by default assumes you want to add it to the selection as you draw it in. So I'll just keep drawing it. So I'll make my brush a little bit smaller since I'm going to be painting in a much smaller area here. Just like that. Now in this case I'm not going to worry about a wholly accurate selection because of the effect we're going to be applying. But on objects that have more contrasting backgrounds, you'll be really surprised at how accurate this thing selects them. And look how good it's got a selection here. It looks pretty good. Now, going back to this area between his legs, you can see that it did in fact add it to my selection, and now I need to remove it from my selection. So if I simply hold on the Option or Alt key, you can see that the symbol in the Quick Selection tool turns into a minus symbol. And if you just start painting between the legs there, it removes that area from the selection. So let's just grab the Move tool so we can copy and paste the selection to its own layer. I'm just going to do that real quick by pressing Command or Control J. And as you can see in the Layers panel, I've gone ahead and added that selected area to its own layer. And there you can see it right there. Well, I'm going to highlight the background layer once again, and this time we're going to apply a quick adjustment layer with a levels adjustment. And inside the levels, I'm going to go down here to the output levels and simply take the dark slider here and just push it in so it screens back my background. Now I don't want to go all the way over because it will eventually just completely white out the background, and I don't want that. So we're just going to take it back until it's just barely there. At around 150-ish right there, so it looks pretty good. We'll click OK. Well, now I'm going to highlight that selected skateboarder, and I'm just going to go up here into the Effects tab, and on this second icon, which is the Layer Styles, and we're going to make sure we're looking at Drop Shadows, I'm going to use this third one right here, just double click on it to add it to there. And what it does is it kind of makes a simple cutout of my shape, and makes it look like it's lifted from that background. You can see by applying a drop shadow, it kind of gives me a cool result there. Well, now we're going to do a few more things. I'm going to actually add some text. Let's go over here and add our text tool. And I'm just going to click and add some text. Let's do off the wall. And it's really big, so I'm actually going to need to scale it in. So let's press Command or Control T. And I'm just going to hold on the Option or Alt key and scale it into the middle. And let's just kind of position it right off camera there. Now I'm going to take this little middle slider here and kind of push it over a little bit so it's kind of hovering over the skater. We're not going to leave it like that for very long, because what I'm going to do is actually first change the color of this text, because I don't necessarily want it to be black. So let's double click on our foreground swatch here and change it to perhaps a blue color. And with the foreground color set, I'm going to press Option Delete, and it just fills it in. And let's change the blend mode to perhaps overlay. And then what I'm going to do is take that layer and drag it beneath the layer of that skater so it appears behind him. And I actually want that to appear a little bit darker, so let's try multiply on that. So the background tends to show through a little bit. But now we've got a really cool design with our skater behind us. Well, what I'm going to do is actually drop the opacity of this layer just a little bit. Let's take it back to about 75. And like we did with the skater, I'm going to add a little small drop shadow on that text. So let's go up in here and add this little soft drop shadow right there. And there we have it. So, what we've done is gone from this simple photo and made it a little bit more interesting by adding some text and extracting that skater from the background and then isolating it, putting a drop shadow, giving it a little bit of depth, and giving it a really interesting look by using that simple quick selection tool. So, very effective tool, very useful in generating quick and easy selections and doing all kinds of cool effects. So, there you have it for this week, and we'll see you next time.